her. Man.
Get in the car. I don't care what you demand.
Come on, man, look at it. This is a little girl. She's 9 years old. Don't nobody feel no type of way. You got these people running around with stimulus checks acting like ain't nothing going on. Where the gangsters at? I go. Agobi. Ile mokyo. Eshua mokyo. Oguna mokyo.
I would write this shit in fire. This is a war cry. This is Sankofa, Rwanda, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, Southside, Chicago, Compton, California, Roosevelt Projects in Brooklyn.
Bitch, you shoot back like flat. 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 1 time for the baby that's black. 2 times for the lady that's black. 3 times for the way we get back. 4 times for the Eddie could crack. Bitch, you shoot back like flat. 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 1 time for the baby that's black. 2 times for the lady that's black. 3 times for the way we make stack. Revolution like hate like that. I'm a king with a crown that's facts. She a queen with a crown that's facts. I'm a G, she a G that stacks. I'm a G, she a G that match. From my G's in the back that trap. Be a G, get back, that's tax. See, we a feet who need this facts. And we'll teach TC this facts. So when you see we eat the snacks. If we see deceit, this cats. Be a key to the free that latch. Be a key to a seed that hatch. From my G's in the back that trap. Be a G, flip that, that's racks. See a LLC, get that. And start a business, please, this that. Bitch, you shoot back like flat. 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 1 time for the baby that's black. 2 times for the lady that's black. 3 times for the way we get back. 4 times for the Eddie could crack. Bitch, you shoot back like flat. 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 1 time for the baby that's black. 2 times for the lady that's black. 3 times for the way we make stack. Revolution like Haiti like that. See the crown where it's at, this hat. And we gon' lay it down flat, this mat. Fall asleep where you at, this snap. See an open hand slap, let's smash. While we even at all's mishaps. I'm like even that's all mismatch. Spit this, spit that, spit facts. Kick this, kick that, click clack. Bitch, you shoot back like flat. 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 1 time for the baby that's black. 2 times for the lady that's black. 3 times for the way we get back. 4 times for the Eddie could crack. Bitch, you shoot back like flat. 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 1 time for the baby that's black. 2 times for the lady that's black. 3 times for the way we make stack. Revolution like hate like that. For those who came before me, let the legacy live through me. My ancestors giving honor, you dig? Tell them crown me king. Tell them crown me king. Tell them crown me king. I'ma crown me king. They told me do this for the sisters who gotta work that job. She just trying to raise her babies while she goes so hard. Tell her crown me king. Tell her crown me king. Tell her crown me king. I'ma crown me king. It's for the brothers on the struggle locked inside of that cell. Just know I'm trying to free your mind, get you out of that jail. Tell them crown me king. Tell them crown me king. Tell them crown me king. I'ma crown me king. You know the children are the future, teenage boys and girls. Get your money, start a business, then take over the world. Tell them crown me king. Tell them crown me king. Tell them crown me king. I'ma crown me king.
I am the niece of exploitation on a rice and pancake box. Come to collect the royalties for Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben. I am refreshing the bones, a witch, a root worker, a sorceress, a priestess, a gangster.
Bitch, you shoot back like flat. 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 1 time for the baby that's black. 2 times for the lady that's black. 3 times for the way we get back. 4 times for the Eddie could crack. Bitch, you shoot back like flat. 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 1 time for the baby that's black. 2 times for the lady that's black. 3 times for the way we make stack. Revolution like Haiti like that.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? I got a special guest. I think he in the, oh, there you go. I got a special guest coming on, my good friend, brother Joshua. Introduce yourself, Josh, man. Tell the people where they can find you at, what you known for, man.
Well, peace everybody. My name is Joshua Marte, and basically I run with an organization, Street Corner Resources, and we do anti-violence work. We're helping in the community, and we de-escalate violence in our area, and we basically try to help with the youth, mainly help with the youth, and we're getting them, if they're trying to finish out school, keeping them on that straight and narrow. We even send some kids out to college. We also try to meet them right where they at, so we walk around the neighborhood, try to meet them, the young men in the neighborhood, offer them resources and things like that, with as far as job readiness programs. Also, if we have open cases and whatnot, we try to help with that as well. And we respond to the hospital whenever somebody's shot, stabbed, or beaten inside of Harlem. We show up and we try to offer information about trying to de-escalate the situation, mediate without police presence. So, and I'm an outreach worker at the team. So what my role basically is, as we meet new young people, try to figure out ways to help reform them, keep them on straight and narrows, and also be like a mentor to some capacity where they can be and run a role model as well, so that they can have a better understanding on how to be, and also see somebody that come from out of the streets and come from where they come from. They get to try to have a platform or a way of being. You get to see that, and you get to say, "Dag, man, brother Josh could do this, and I know him from such and such, or I know he's blah blah blah, and I see how he moving and operating now. Maybe there is a lane for me to change my ways, and also help change the community." And that's
Okay.
pretty much the view of that.
I just want to take a minute to have a moment of silence for your little cousin. I don't know how many people that watch this particular platform watch the news, but right on 155th and St. Nicholas Place, going towards Edgecombe, there was a fish market. Young man got stabbed in the fish market, and his life was taken. So I just want to have a moment of silence, just for that, real quick. Just one moment, real quick. So I got my question for you is like, does it affect you more when it's close to home and you have to respond to this, or it's the same effect regardless, because you still talk about life regardless?
I think it definitely affects you more when it's closer to home. You have to. It's almost like a test, because you have to stand on what you preach or what you believe in, or what you may tell somebody else about stopping violence or no retaliation, or you gotta let your better judgment take place and say, if retaliation, is that gonna lead to anything besides your arrest or another death? And that's kind of hard to do, because you hear your own family, you hear your own friends, you hear your peers and everybody around you who's outraged at the situation. Right, wrong, good or bad, they're outraged once somebody in the community that they know and love, that's related to them, dies from the act of violence. Or the father, or how a father and a mother feels when they say, "My baby." And you're not just thinking about, oh man, somebody's baby. You're saying, our baby, this is our baby that it happened to. So I do believe it hits home. It hits harder when it's closer to home. I do believe that.
What actually made you want to get into this act of service? Because this is a service. Like, a lot of people don't even understand, it's more than a job, it's a service.
Yes, sir. What made me want to get into this, I actually didn't know I was coming into this. I was a good friend of mine. He does important work in Harlem. He connected me to the organization, and I thought that I was going there to just do some custodian work and janitor work or some cleaning or some or whatnot. And then I met a sister there that saw more of me at that time and had a conversation about my life and where I came from. And I think from there, the organization thought it better to just, you need to come and do some of this work. And from there, it took a life of its own. I didn't plan this, but I can also say that my life beforehand, I always was some sort of an activist in my own personal space because I always dealt very well with young men. I always try to keep common sense at the forefront of the people that was around me. Even if I didn't have it 100%, I knew that was the main goal, to make sure that you help people that surround you that may not have the same kind of mind or thinking pattern as you, or not be in that space at the moment, because we all can grow out of where we come from and become something way better. So for me, getting into this, it wasn't planned. It wasn't well thought out. I think I actually was chosen or called into this work to some degree.
So we laugh about this. You and I laugh about this a lot, about just us being from where we from and being able to go anywhere in Harlem. Do you ever have that fear when you walk into these situations that this could go left at any moment just because of where I'm from?
Yes, sir. And you and I both know you can't predict some of these hotheads. Young, old, very young, very old. You cannot predict some of the actions. And then there's some people that you and I both know don't care about police, don't care about the service you bring in, don't care about your status, don't care about a mother losing a son. And if you come to a neighborhood thinking that you're going to be able to step in a situation, have a voice in this, and they might feel like, listen, I don't want to hear that on all levels. So it's always dangerous stepping into certain areas and going to certain places, especially after a situation has taken place. That's what I want people to understand. We're not just showing up just because we know the area and that's you want to be preventative. So yes, you may show up to an area just to do some outreach there to see how it is, get a feel for the community, and say, man, this is a place we need to be because it's a lot going on here. But we a lot of times show up when there's a need or violence is a concern. You show up and the tensions is already high. We may not have the full story. The situation with my cousin, we didn't have the full story. People don't have the full story. It don't matter about the full story to loved ones, friends, and communities. Some people just doesn't matter when tensions is high, and you can't predict when the strike of emotion somebody may have may have them act or do something that you couldn't predict or imagine somebody would want to even do in the settings that we come in peace, but we're not always met with peace or open arms. So
that's powerful and profound, actually, generally, because understanding that you're not automatically going to be met with the same peace that you bring, and still being willing to still have that mindset, like I still got to bring this peace, is powerful, right? Like, because generally sometimes you got to meet a person with the same level of aggression as them, but y'all are more restrictive in y'all in y'all delivery and positioning, you feel me? So that's like powerful in itself. What are some of the resources that you would like to see go into the communities that you think would help aid in preventing violence as a collective?
I'll be honest, I don't like that question. I don't like having to answer that question because the way I feel it's things that go on deeper than what we talk about, deeper than what we're allowed to talk about in some cases, because our people, minorities, the communities we live in, need to me, a whole reset, because we don't know how to live. We don't know how to behave with one another. And I'm not talking about behave in a way that, oh, you should act. I'm talking about we don't even know how to behave around one another. So we can pour into resources, all the resources we want. We can pour into schools. We could pour into more organizations like mines. We can pour, like, not mines personally, to the organization that I work for. You can give more money or bring more resources to the community, but if you don't have the right people helping, because I don't know exactly what the East Side needs. I can guess because I know they're a reflection of my community, but I know in my community there's definitely a lack of, I'll tell you, there's a lack of jobs. Before we talk about lack of jobs, the brothers that we would get to work these jobs may not even be in the correct position to work a job. Coming and smelling like weed, pants hanging, words slurring, and don't understand. Yeah, we set you up. We got 100 jobs here, and we wanna provide them to the community. But if the brothers we bring in aren't ready, or if we bring in brothers that are ready, we still leaving out the ones who aren't ready. So we definitely need to be educated, not just in education, but on how exactly to be a community, not to your family, to yourself, and to your loved ones. So bringing the resource may vary between community to community, but the main thing is how do we reach the main people we're trying to reach? All right, so we have a drug addict problem, right? And we have people, there's a lot of drug activities, a lot of drugs that keep people down, drugs sold to pregnant women, drugs sold to kids. And I'm not just talking weed, cocaine, crack. I'm talking, there's all type of drugs, all the lean, the pills, everything that people making homemade cough syrup drugs, right? So at this point, we definitely need to be able to clean up some of our people's act. On top of that, we need education, but we need more added into the education that we receive. So to me, this is me personally speaking. I'm not even speaking on necessarily for the organization. I'm talking Josh, because Josh is in the community. Even when I take the uniform off, I go back into the community and I have to go into the store. I have to go here. The stores don't even represent who we are half of the time. So, and you can be Hispanic. You can be, I'm half Hispanic, half Dominican, half black. I don't even identify. I hate to identify like that because I all believe we are one. But an individual can be a Arab. He can be African. He can be anything. But if you don't identify with the community you live in, the resources that we bring will keep landing in the wrong hands and helping people who won't put the same energy and effort and resources back into the community from which we come. So I just hope that I'm clear about what I'm trying to say, that I could state every last resource that we need, that everybody always stating. But my goal and mission personally is to get others to understand, if you don't learn how to behave and structure yourself in your household, your family, your kids, your children, and your siblings, maybe, if you don't have a firm grip on what you guys are, your mission is, or how you need to behave in your community and your neighbors, and how to engage your neighbors, and also how to spread the same energy that you want back. If you don't understand how to help just the average person, because we all don't come with ties and suits, and we all don't come with, I got my transit job, I got my blah 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 job, or I work for this in the state, blah blah blah. That's cool for the individual, but if we keep bypassing the ones on the corner who's going to commit the crimes, who's going to be overlooked, we don't learn. And that's not easy. I don't have the exact answer on helping them. I think I have some of it, but that's not easy. But if we can have all the resources in the world, and I end it with this, we can have all the resources in the world, but if we don't educate people on how to be a community for real, the resources will fail. And I actually have some things that I was information on, just understanding how we spend our money. At some point I'll maybe share if you give me a chance, but we can have it all. If we don't have the proper structure and the proper people to work with this resources and to actually get things done, it means absolutely nothing. I hope I answered the question, but I know I went off a little bit. I just hope that you understand.
Nah, you actually highlighted something that is actually good. For me, I always say that we have to be our own resource, right? So when you
Yes,
speak
sir.
about being a community and being educated on how to actually apply what we receive as far as the resource, then that's
Yes,
something
sir.
different. Um, I do believe that society has done. At one point, there was a give take relationship, right, between us as a people and society,
Yes.
right? And then they just started to take. They're not giving anymore. So when I the resource that I was thinking that you would say was like start putting more after schools into in the communities, right? Because now our kids, we know where our kids are, right?
Yes.
We know where our kids are when they in after school, right? I remember growing up and they had PALs on
Mm-hmm.
151st, 146. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
143rd. There was 159th. It was multiple PALs. You don't
I
even see
remember I was
PALs
on
no
that. I
more.
was there playing ball.
You
I was
understand?
PAL. Yes,
Like,
sir.
and I wasn't a part of PAL, but I was able to go to a different block and just meet somebody I went to school with, and just we'll play basketball, we'll play, Connect Four. So that was a service for the community, right? Now they doing more taking than giving. So it's a big takeaway for us as a
Yes,
community,
sir.
right? Because you're not giving us nothing to do, right? and and
Yes,
and
sir.
that's a big problem.
And I
Um,
can add in on that with, right? You see, most of the kids that will show up to those after schools will come from a certain kind of home because their parents just have to work, or their parents have the understanding of you're not going to be just running around these streets while I'm out, blah blah blah. You go to this after school
right,
and come straight home, and I'll pick you up. The kid we got to worry about is the one who's not going to go to after school, who don't even show up to school. He shows up, act on let out with his situation on him, with his little crew with him, and the other one that belongs in after school, who mothers send him to after school, he'll start being dragged out by individuals like this. And then, how do you make after school cool for certain young kids who don't have that life structure? Moms are drug addicts, fathers are locked up, and they don't see no value in school. They don't see no value in showing up, or even let alone, all right, fine, I'll go to my 8 periods. I go to my 7 periods. But after that, I'm out. I'm on timing after that. Those are the ones that we need to be involved with to help. And I'll just highlight this. Street Corner Resources, the organization I work for, that has a after school program where we show up to schools of concern where violence things may be happening, and we perform what is called a safety passage. So a safety passage is so that whatever's taking place, we're there in front of it, and kids are not fighting, kids are not active. But you say, how do y'all do that, Josh? How is that possible? How do you know what's going down? These kids are not professional gangsters. They're not the mob. They don't have no structure. They're little flight promoters. So Instagram, they're on there promoting, yo, 3 o'clock, we boom, boom. At one point, they was saying the avenues that they was going to throw at each other from, right? But then you listen to the kids as they being let out of school, and you hear, and you got to watch their body language. You got to watch who's mad. You got to find out who's leading most of these children, because there are leaders amongst these children. These children don't have direction for themselves. Whoever they think got the biggest voice or may put the most work in, we do what he say. So when you find that one and you see him operating, he come out shirt all open, yo, y'all ready? Yo, blah, blah, blah. You have to be there to be ready to meet him. And you may not have nothing to say. Your energy, the place you're coming from, they have to feel that, because that's my biggest thing that I use to get towards them, is letting them feel, listen, there's nothing you can say or do that's going to scare me. I will give my life here to prove to you that you're not as bad as you think. And so I just want to say that, because that's my biggest point, bro, is that once we figure out, like you said, after school, yes, after school, 100% after school, but along with after school, how are we gonna reach the troublemakers? And I don't mean to call them troublemakers, it's for the sake of conversation, but how do we meet the young men that are not in the right space? And just like myself, I lost a cousin. Not just me losing a cousin. I tell you, there is somebody that lost a brother. My other cousin lost his brother. So now, I'm not allowed to tell him how to react or feel. I don't care what I think I know. I'm not allowed to tell him you can't go retaliate. All I have to do is keep being an example or position myself. And I'm only saying not allowed.
I mean, for the sake of just for the sake of conversation, I just disagree with that, right? Because I know I know that we all look for a certain level of validation from not only our peers, but you know, someone that we look up to, right? Whether it be mom or dad or uncle, you know what I'm saying? So, and then when you don't get it from there, you start to look for it from your peers, right? So those same troublemaker kids that you have, they may have the smart kid that's actually going to after school, that's actually studying, right? When you look for that validation, right? It's like, yo, this is what I'm going to do. Why don't you come with me and see what this is about, right? So we got to be able to get connected with both parties, right? And you know, for your cousin, right, that just lost a brother, right? You may not even realize that he's looking for something from you, right? Because the thing is that no matter what we believe, somebody is always watching, right? And that's the thing about integrity, right? So the minute that you say I can't, right, or no, but you can, right? Now he may not want to hear it in the midst of the here and now but something is gonna sink in, right? Something is gonna sink in, right? And I just encountered this situation. I'm not gonna say my bro name, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say the situation. Long story short, he was beefing with a kid out in Brooklyn. He beat the kid up. We in the Bronx or whatever on Prospect and 160th. The kid drove up and got caught at the light. And he looked at me and then looked, and I didn't think nothing of it. He ran down on the kid's car and was like, yo, get out the car. Let's get it right here, right now. Or whatever, right? And now he's ready to run off and he's talking about booming him. And I say, yo, bro, let me ask you something. Do you think that you could raise your kids through a 30-minute phone call and a 5-minute letter, right? How long you think your son is gonna want to hear that? Eventually that's gonna turn to, all right, dad, yeah. As soon as you hang up, it is what it is, right? So what ended up happening was an hour later, he ended up calling me and saying, yo, listen, yo, I know what I did at the moment. I was acting in rage and my emotions, but you was right. He said, yo, you was right. You feel me?
I feel that.
He was the bigger picture. So oftentimes we got to take advantage of just the deposit, right? When you plant the seed, you don't even know how much you can make it grow. We can't sit there and say,
I'm with that.
You know what I'm saying? Because realistically, just like it is him, it's you, because you said that's your cousin, right? It's still out. This same blood still run through both our veins.
Yes, sir.
Right. So it's not like you don't feel the pain. You feel the pain. It's just from a different plateau because, right? You understand? So it's like you still got to plant that seed, though, right? Yes. Because when we begin as a community, since you use community, and I like it, when we begin to speak life into each other, into the youth, into the elders, right? They're gonna speak life into us, right? And it goes full circle, right? So it's about presentation, right? Just like you said, we
presentation.
Yeah, like what you were saying, we got to meet them where they at, right?
That's what I want to clarify real quick before I don't want to get it confused, because that's my entire mission and job, is to be able to help intervene on the ones that people try to write off or say you can't help. What I'm trying to say is, what I wanted to get to is the fact that in order to be, you have to have like, so we move through the neighborhood in the community, right? So you have to actually be there a certain amount of time to keep that example, because it's easy to go to church, but sometimes church life starts when church ends. As a good brother, I was listening to Jay-Z the other day, said that, and what I took from that was, you can, while you're in that mode, while I'm with you and I'm planting my seeds, is good, but when I step away from you, I have to hope that you stay close to that, or that I hope that I did a good enough job. My idea I would like is to make sure that we have more people like yourself, myself, planted in the community, connected with one another, so that I can make a phone call to say, yo, I just left such and such. When you get a chance, you holler at them too, or you check in on them too, or people that's around and available to these people, because if they don't go to the young kids, if they don't go to after school, what's the next step? Or if their friend can't reach them and say, yo, come to after school, because that's not going to work for everybody. Some going to say, yo, get out of here with that, and really mean it. So the next thing for me is to keep, like, that's why I do the work that I do with the organization, because they stay in the street actively all day for the most part. And then we do have to go home, but that's what I mean when we need more money and we need more resources, in that sense of being available to the community to keep things calm and keep teaching the community. Then I believe that we actually get to help that young man, that see how you helped your peoples out and planted that seed with them. That's like that's so wonderful, because I've done that on so many levels. But I've also grown to learn that when I step away from certain situations and I don't have the same full throttle on top of it, it's so easy to go left. So I started to realize we're gonna need help. We're gonna need more real help, and the help is, like you said, we are the resources, each other. So I just want to make sure that I'm not unclear about the fact that I do believe you have to believe that you can help change these young men. But the way that I see it is, we have to have availability on a serious level. Like you may have to come out your house 3 a.m., 4 a.m. to get in front of something, and that's where organizations like Street Corner Resources and other organizations like Kill Violence, that's where I think some of the best work comes in at, because we are commissioned to go out and be there and be available at the time and the hour where others aren't. I'm good.
Yeah, you good. You good. So how many times have you faced a situation where you walked into the situation and you was shunned because people start to look at you like you ain't the police?
Depending on how, like, all right, I don't want to talk in details, man. That's the thing. There's so much stuff. I would love to be able to say some of these situations, but
I mean, hypothetical. Just give a hypothetical, yeah. Like. So right. just so you know, right? Whether you give detail or not,
right?
Whether you give detail or not, right? Mm-hmm. We got examples of historians that did activist work, right? Mm-hmm. Martin Luther King, right? Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton, Bunchy Carter, Fred Hammond. Like you know what I'm saying? So we got real life examples of how many of them endured these different same trials and tribulations, right? And what you spoke of about learning how to be a community, right? Is important, because generally if you're coming to help before the police gets there, right? But I'm looking at you and saying you're not the police, then I make you an enemy, right? So you know, we just highlighting different things, right? We just highlighting different things. That's what I'm saying. Like hearing it from you is different than hearing it from me, because you're actually doing the work. You're in the field. You're stomping the pavement. So hearing it from you is different, but we can still highlight it, so we can know what we can do to move forward.
So I'll say, in a sense, man, when we show up to a scene, and it's sometimes before police arrive, because we in the community, actually we've been so much active in the community that we're actually there for sometimes when stuff happens, we can be almost a block or two over. And one thing that we always face is, where y'all was at when y'all wasn't here. That's the first thing, because the police ain't there. Nobody. Yo, why y'all wasn't here? But 5 minutes ago, where y'all was at just now? Blah 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 blah. Before they did such and such and such, and that's one of the hardest part of the work, because you have to remain calm, because we all come from the streets, so we all have that emotional feeling of, yo, we want to be there to stop this. But we have to go and explain to somebody, like, look, we know you in pain. We can't be everywhere every second at every moment, and we are not the police. We don't have a radio, so it didn't come over the antenna or the wire. We may have heard about the commotion just in passing. Somebody may say, yo, y'all need to go over to such and such on foot. Da, da, da. It's going down over there. Or such and such just had a situation. He told him, I'll be right back. And when people start to realize, it's not in the beginning. In the beginning, we have to keep fighting through layers of disrespect sometimes. We fight through layers of discomfort. We push past layers of being just totally trying to be shunned out. And then the humbleness we have to take and stand on the side and still give an oversight, still showing presence, until somebody comes and wind up crying on our shoulder and saying, yo, I can't believe it. And then boom, for us, there we have it. That's when we get to have our little moment where we say, listen, and get to plant, like you say, a seed into into the situation, and to deter people from retaliation, and to help with mediation. And also, I think when people see us, we're not the police, but I think somewhere in somebody's mind, we are somewhat of an authority, where it's like, you guys can make a move, because we use the knowledge that we have about what's going on to how to direct people. So if your beef with somebody is a housing issue, if you want to get away from your situation because we can't get, maybe we're not in tight with the opposition enough to say, listen, because if we say, oh, look, you go put your weapon down, and you go put your weapon down, and you actually do it, and you walk out the house and get shot up, then that almost puts a burden on us. So we adopted this thing where we need to be able to deal with the opposition as well as you as well. So that's another position that makes it harder for us, because people may see us and say, yo, your guy you hired, he's from up the hill. Your boy's from the east side. Now I don't want y'all in this. Y'all not the police. Y'all not this. Y'all not that. So what I'm saying is, we have learned to just stand firm and be in a position that when it is time for us to activate, we activate. Whether it's being there to console the family, whether it's being there to say, listen, we work in the hospital, so what happened is we may have information about the victim, and the mother may be seeing us going into the hospital, knowing that we have that ability, and say, well, can you get me to my son? Can you find out if my son is okay? So there's little roles that we try to play to become important up until we get a moment where we get to stop. All right, I'll give one situation, a situation where a lady was shot, and then some other young ladies wanted to rush in and get and to see, and while the mother's in the operating room. And that's not easy to stop for teared up, screaming, F that B. Y'all not police, y'all not the house, y'all not nurses. Why y'all back there? Why y'all back there? We coming too. And we have to turn and push them away, because we know what they don't know. If the person that's getting worked on, your loved one that's being operated on, gets a slight wind of your voice or hear commotion, heart rate might start going up, blood pressure go up, and they can actually lose life there. So these are little things we have to be ready to meet and help individuals that try to shun us off. We have to be there to meet them with with our experience, with our knowledge, with our humbleness.
That makes sense. Do y'all feel a need to step in and be more responsive because of the nature in which of police brutality, or y'all just making sure that y'all actually becoming a resource to the community so that needs are met in certain ways?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So when it comes to us being a resource, I think that we are one of the best resources. A lot of people don't understand this or know this, right? We don't have police give police information. It's in contract, it's in writing. But police do give us information, right? Police may send over some information. It could be through a text, it could be through an email, or it could be in person with a certain person that does that can, not all of us, because it doesn't benefit me to be seen having conversation with the police. So what I'm saying is we are some of the best resources in the fact that we are versatile. You can come to us about your housing situation. Now we're not the housing help. We are the housing referral, right? And not just, take this, go over here and sit and blah, blah, blah. No, it's okay, sit down, explain, bring in a counselor, bring in somebody, a professional, a mediator, and have them sit down and say, okay, so what's the issue? It could be heat, it could be lighting, it could be safety, it could be whatever. We listen to that. And then while that is going on, we say, okay, well, get such and such on the phone for me, please. We can call the mayor's office. And all right, the same situation where we had with the young ladies and whatnot. Or it's just a random situation. The shooter's still at large. The shooter shot and killed somebody, or shot or hurt somebody in the apartment that where kids lived, right? So the shooter's still at large. Them kids can't go home until the shooter's found. A lot of times police are so busy, they don't even know how or who to connect with to keep all them children under one roof. We help with that. We've done that already, right? Where you make a phone call to the mayor's office or make a phone call to our housing connect and say, hey, listen, we need a room. We need a place in the community. We have relationship with developers. We have the relationship with the porters. We have relationships with the businesses. We have relationship with the churches, with the mosques. We have relationship with all of these entities so that we can be the connect, the resource referral, or the resource. And to keep all children under one roof was a big thing. A young man chased down, grazed in the leg, can't go back to his apartment. Called up his family. They want him to come down to North Carolina and to stay down there and live. Ticket brought. We go to the house, picked up items and everything they need on FaceTime, and got everything out so they didn't have to return to the area. These are our measures we take, as well as, like you say, the after school program. Us showing up after school, being there to meet these young kids, or a lot of them we have employed over a handful of kids. Like it's almost like you said, we need the after schools, and we can't even keep all of these kids employed because all of them want to work, all of them want to get out of the situation they're in. So it's almost, we have to become creative with paying them out of our budget, being able to send them to other places that will pay them to keep them there. And so what I'm saying is we are a lot of times a resource referral, and we are the resource ourselves. And a lot of people don't understand. There's scaffoldings, and like I know what can go down under a scaffold. You know that some of the scaffolds have horrible lightings. Some of these scaffolds have no lightings, right? And if your neighborhood, if violence keep happening under this scaffold and it's in our neighborhood, we start petitioning to get either more lighting or check in with the building to make sure the construction people aren't just leaving it sitting here for $1, because every day the scaffold sits up in your neighborhood, and whether work is being done or not, the city has to pay that company or whoever's running, whoever's handling that. So there's a lot of times where we have to figure this out. Like, listen, this scaffold here is causing a gathering, and a negative gathering, one that is not conducive to the neighborhood. These are little things that people won't understand that we do. A car accident take place, 2 people jumped out right in front of us, and have to jump and intervene in that and talk down 2 people after squaring off, cars bent up, broken up, and no police had to come. Yo, listen, do the right thing, brother. Grab his information. Grab it. Aki, I'm glad you was here. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yes, bro. And these are little things that we don't get pats on the back for, that we are a big resource in the community. And I'll leave with this as well. During the pandemic, we went around to all our elders that we connected with, and if we just ran into you in the street and saw you moving around, we dropped off food. We took lists, we took notes, we showed up to people's doors. We didn't go home and hide. We didn't just say, oh, that's it, shut it down. We always found a way to be the resource. So I think the best thing I could say is that we're very flexible, and all it takes is a certain kind of mind and thinking to help produce the help at any moment. So
Right.
if you came to us with a situation, the minds we have there, along with the resources and the abilities that we have, with the connections we have, there's always room for help. There's nobody that have to walk away unhelped. So I hope that.
So here's the irony of you saying that. I remember when you and it might have been the second time I met you, because the first time we just spoke. The second time we was in the field, you took me. We was in the field. We was on like 143rd between Lennox and 7th.
I remember that.
And I said, you know, one of the most hurtful things you could see in these communities is that these young dudes do not help the elders, right? And literally, like 2 minutes later, the lady walked up and she had her dolly, she was pulling her wagon, right? And I'm like, yo, that is crazy. And she's like, no, I'm used to it now, right? Because we're in a different era of how these kids are raised, right? They don't actually service the community, right? It's the same thing when you get on the train or the bus. Men aren't getting up and giving up their seats for these ladies, right? And it's a lot that takes place with that, right? And it makes the elders not trust us anymore, right? Because I know when I was growing up, I didn't only go to this store for my grandmother to get her Sunny Delight and lottery tickets and newspapers and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Like I went for my neighbor downstairs. She wanted the Big Mac because she was playing the lotto, the illegal numbers, and you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. So I end up getting whole shopping lists and all right, just go to 4B, just go to 4C, just go to 1B, right? And then I gotta go to my house. So grandma first, but she last because I'm still making my drop-offs, right? And we don't get a chance to see that anymore because weed is legal. So these young men is blowing smoke in the elders' faces. They smoking right in the lobbies. They sitting right on the stoop. They not putting no shade on it, right? And we were speaking about that, and hearing you say that is like it just touched me because I'm like, yo, that's crazy because we literally held that conversation, right?
That's true.
So when I look at street, like when I look at street corner resources in totality, I look at the mentorship, right? Because it's certain avenues that a person could come to and say, yo, Josh, I've been looking for, this. I filled out an application for to go to Target multiple times, and you might say something like, well, if you filled out the application 4 times, this is what you should do: put on a red shirt, put on some beige jeans, black professional shoes, walk in there and ask who the manager is, right? That way you leave a statement that makes you memorable, right? What is your name? That's what they're gonna say. My name is such and such. My name is Josh, right? My name is, and then you know what? A spot became available. Let me look at that application now, right? Because a lot of times they don't have the time to go online and get your application. But when you leave your mark, right? A lot of people have to be taught how to leave their mark, right? How to become memorable, because the false reality that's created for us is the one that we live in so consistently, right? So one of the craziest things in the world is I was just saying this last night. I was like, a lot of times people don't even realize when you symbolically, when you are in the transformation stage, you still closer to who you once was than you are than who you're about to become. So it's similar to jaywalking, right? When you jaywalk, right, you still closer to the sidewalk, as close to the sidewalk as you are in the street. So you got time to jump back and be safe if it comes to it, right? And you being who you once was is it gives you that safe haven, right? Even in the midst of trying to change. So, when you make the statement about us being taught about being a community, about being the resource, right? Like people need to actually know these things, right? Because then you can break the cycle.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And then one of the things that you said without saying it though was about financial literacy, right?
Yes, sir.
right? This is another way for us to become our own resource when we start taking these classes for financial literacy, because then you learn about budgeting, right? You learn about how to save money. You know what I'm saying? You learn these different things that positions you, right? So generally it's you create a new identity in that particular place. So
can I say something about what you said about financial literacy? I think
anything you want.
I was just reading something where it said we spend close to, I think, let me see what that paperwork said. It says something about we spend $2 billion a year on Air Jordans. We spend $4 billion a year as black minorities in the neighborhoods and the people that live in our neighborhoods. We spend $4 billion on liquor. We spend another $2 billion on McDonald's. We spend $800 million on turkey, beef, pork, and chicken. We spend $10 million on grits. So I'm looking. We have over $10 billion to spend in unnecessary places. Find the food part, we give you that. But when I look and see that we give Air Jordan $2 billion, we give alcohol $4 billion, and that's not the whole overall number. That's the number of minorities. That's what we spend in our community. And I'm looking. So if we all crying for stimulus, or we all begging for reparations, and we want money, or we want this, if we're not giving it, if we're not having a certain mindset to put it back into the community, the resources that we're asking from the city, the government, from those resources will go right back out. Right back out. So I was sitting thinking that's why I was saying before we could just be 100% ready to receive whatever we want to receive, we have to do the work you just finished saying, teaching the young brothers how to not smoke around the elders, how to move, how to help carry the elders' bag, how to walk by and speak to your peers and speak to your elders in a certain manner and structure. See, I'm walking by and a lady's struggling with her cart to get in the door. Let her see you run to grab it. Let your little brother and sister see you run to grab it. I make my lady and my sisters and my mother, when we going through doors, I open it, and if there's another door, they all know when they're with me, because I will start a big beef about it and they got to hear my mouth about it. They must stand to the side and allow me to open the next door. And that, yes, it's for show. It's so people see who the queens are around me, where the respect is. And when you see how strong and mighty as I am in the streets, hollering at young brothers, talking the way I could talk, moving the way I need to move, and you see me stop my whole situation I'm doing to go, oh yes, queen, oh yes, sister, yes, or even an elderly man, because we don't understand the elderly men. The first thing to go on when an elderly man is his knees. All men knees and legs go first on him. So when I see an elderly brother of age, I do not act like, oh, I don't have to help him. Yes, I will carry his bags as well. And these are small things. If we're scared, if I hear the neighbors arguing and fighting, and next it sounds like somebody's beating on a woman, we don't want to call police, and we don't even want to ring the bell. So which one is it? We're gonna let somebody die, and then when it's your sister and mother? These are little things in the community that we have to start holding others accountable for, so that we can actually build our community better and be able to help. And our elders, like you said something key, brother, and you said something very key. We need to pour into our elders so that they can pour into us. If you do 10 minutes worth of work for an elder, all it takes is 1 minute of some wisdom they can give you to spark something, a new life into you, or give you some new information, a new lesson, something that you can go and repeat. Because if you're only talking with your peers and you're not talking to the ones that's in after school actually learning, you're only with the rah-rah and the ah-ah, you only gonna be able to repeat the ah-ah and the rah-rah. So now, like you said, and I'm glad you said that, and I'm glad you actually almost differed with me when I said that, so that it reminds people, yes, you have the power and the authority to do it, but you must be in the position to show it to even the ones that you think are not watching. The little one carrying, the little one moving and grooving, he may see it, Anthony, see it, Joshua, and go, you know what? I knew such and such from up the hill, and I knew such and such from down over there. I knew such and such from the east side, from the X right there. And I ain't gonna hold you. Some was bugging out back in those times. And now look at him, yo. Like, nah, not for nothing. So you still can keep your respect. Use your respect as an OG. Use the power that you have as whatever kind of man you growing into. Use that to be the example. And I think that's the biggest thing that we can do at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, without a resource, without any help, without any direction. You can just be the example, so that that's almost the way that you can plant another seed when somebody wants to follow the right thing. And it's not enough of us doing the right thing, so it's not popular to say what you and I are sitting down. We talked for almost an hour. This is not popular to some youth or some people who say, man. So now what make it popular is our background and the accolades and the things that we came out of. Somebody say, Dad, they start with that. I may have to lead with, yo, you know, such and such, that was my man. Yo, you know, man, such and such ran down and we was the terrorize. Yo, but you know what's crazy? You know, thank God, man, we made it out of that, because guess what? This brother, and this is real, I ran into a brother that we was like, I didn't know what was going to happen. We ran into each other, but was looking for each other, right? And then you say, Dad, yo, if you and I would have caught up to each other in our timing, four of my little girls would not be alive. 2 of your little girls won't be alive. 6 of their little kids wouldn't be here. They would not exist. Right. Bloodlines and generations would have been cut short because you and I caught each other in the building. So that's why I look at this, just always trying to stay creative, to be an example, always trying to stay positive. And I've been a person who was the problem. I mean, I wasn't the biggest problem, but I was a problem from where I was. And right. And I say that not bragging. I'm saying that in the sense that in all of that ignorance, I still came out of that. And that's one thing I'm going to hold my head on and keep pushing forward in the work, to say, I'm not going to give up. And what you, like you said, we do have the ability to pour into the season. I'm not going to forget that. I'm a student first. So when you say things today, I'll go and digest them and put them into action, because I believe in you as an individual and you as a community person. And I know that your love and concern runs deeper, because me and you, every time me and you speak, without a camera, without nobody listening, it's always community building. You and I don't have basketball conversations. You and I don't talk about who's down the block doing such and such. We know people that know each other. You know people, and I know people that we know deep, that's deep, and we don't even talk about that, because we get straight into how we're going to change what we're doing.
Yeah, right.
Just want to commend you on that really quick. Before anything go for, I just want to commend you on that, because like, you pulled up on me at work, and we had conversations, but the level of concern and care that you have for the youth and to see things better, I believe that your heart is pure in the right place. And I would follow you into situations. I would follow you into doing certain things and activities, because I believe your heart, even if we can have a misstep or a miscalculation. I don't like to say mistakes, but you and I can mess up, but we won't. But I believe your heart is in such a good place when it comes to trying to figure this thing out, that I would allow myself to pull up and be a part of anything that you're involved with. And that can spread, because when they see us together, you and I pull up in the neighborhood where we both known, and when they see what we're building and moving on, I think that becomes so stronger than who ops is where and who ops is opping and what's what and what's what. And so I just wanted to say that. I just wanted to give you your props on that too, brother, because I see you from a mile away, man.
Nah, listen, I appreciate that. And here's the irony. You even, this is why I always say, man, God knows these things before we do, right? And this is by divine appointment, right? This is by divine appointment, because generally, what I was about to say to you was like, we really don't know each other, right? I met you last year, right? Or the year before that, or something like that, right? And we just always embraced each other like we knew each other our whole lives, right? So generally, right, with that being said, now the next step with that is, right, it doesn't matter where I see you at, it's like, yo, what's good, bro? Like we, even if it's 5 minutes, we get 5 minutes, I gotta take care of something, you keep it moving, right? Mm-hmm. I'm never too busy, right? So but even without me knowing you, right? In that way, I feel like I knew you my whole life, and I just want to say, like, I'm proud of you, right? As men, we choose not to shake each other's hands and hug each other and say, "Yo, I'm proud of you," because it's not the norm, right? Just like you said, it's not the norm, right? It's not the norm for us to hug each other and say, "Yo, listen, I love you," right? Oh, no homo, right? You know what comes behind that? No homo. Yo, whoa, that was pause, right? It's all these different things that are so forced, right? And then, you know, we can't even teach it because we ain't even using it, right? So if you ain't, you know, they say if you don't use it, you lose it, right?
Yes,
but I want you to know I'm proud of you because I don't know what you came from, but I know I can see the direction that you're going, right? I don't know what your struggles are behind closed doors, but I know what you actually show in love and support, right? And showing up, right? And not feeling like I'm a man, I shouldn't be sitting under a woman, right? Like all these different things. That's powerful, right? To still be willing to, you know, be supportive of women, you know what I'm saying, knowing that we as men degrade ourselves at a high rate and women degrade themselves in a even higher rate, and still be like, yo, you know what, you a queen, right? Sis, you a queen. Have a good day, sis. Right? So with those things, like I'm proud to even say that I know you, and I could really say like you one of my brothers. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know, we don't know each other, right? Like I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like when you begin to talk about, you know, leaving school and seeing who the rah with, like you was so like I was, and I said, hold on, is he talking about me? Because that was me. Like, you feel me? Like that was like, you feel me? So like, but generally, you know, a lot of times it wasn't nobody there to be who Josh is in this time, right? It wasn't nobody there to be who I am in this time, right? And so we had to learn as we go, right? Experience is one of the best teachers, right? So, you know, it's so crazy that you even said what you said about me, because I was about to say the same thing about you. Whoa.
I'm glad I beat you to it, because I don't know if I ever gave you your credit the way that you deserved it. So I just wanted to make sure while I'm on your platform that people know that even where I'm at in my life, that I have the utmost respect and appreciation for what you do, man. And not see, I don't want to be confused. Not even just what you do. I'm talking about your heart. Like I know you don't, the way that you pull up on me. That's what attracted me. I said, because you know we had a few meetings. So that last meeting, I said, nah, this brother's not playing. And you know what I like too? Because we had rocky roads and rocky moments, right? And with organization, with just personal stuff. And I said, yo, this brother is so serious about getting things done that he don't come discouraged or ready to put up a fight. Whatever that was, that's that. I'm here with another opportunity, another way that we can connect, another situation. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take what I can take from him and give what I can give to him. But all it's going to be is as much as help as possible, period. So, yo, I'm glad, man. I'm so glad we got the time to build this way, bro. And I hope you bring me back more. I hope you bring me really, really, really bring me back. I want to say one last thing, too, about when you say, you know, we don't know each other behind closed doors, right? You know something? I just want to say this because I gave up smoking and drinking so that when the young men woke up on me, they don't smell weed and alcohol and say, yeah, I could do that because brother Josh changed. And so I love smoking weed. I shouldn't even say that. But the thing is, I would love to go somewhere and put some stuff in the paper and light up and smoke, or go fix me up a drink and smoke and drink, and then go build. But I feel so inclined that to be an example, that when I sit down and I really focus on what the example looks like, I don't see weed and alcohol in that plan. I don't see it in that plan. Right. So I just wanted to say that so that people don't ever get it confused. When you got to be an example, you have to sacrifice. And so what I learned is sacrifice makes champions. And if you don't have that sacrifice to be an example, you will be a 10-minute example, a 5-minute example, or a here and there example. But you can't be the whole example because you still engage and indulge. And I'm not talking about against nobody. I'm not talking about nothing against what nobody do. I hang out with people that smoke and drink. That I don't preach about it. I'm saying what I did for me personally. And my understanding of being an example and being behind closed doors, what I'm going to do that nobody can't see. Nobody know I smoke and drink like that. But what nobody could see, I made sure I gave it up. And I noticed my eyes brighter, skin getting a little better, looking a little younger. Can't guess my age anymore. I'm starting to feel more vibrant. Walk up these stairs faster. These type of things come. So I just wanted to say that in there because sacrifice is what's going to be necessary from people that call themselves leaders, call themselves OGs, call themselves anything that's half important to anybody. Sacrifice is going to be at the forefront to making this thing work as well.
Yo, it's crazy, right? So,
Wait,
yo,
I
said it's crazy because I drink champagne, right? Because I'm always celebrating something, right? In my mind, I'm always celebrating something, right? But I've never done drugs before, right? I've never smoked weed. I've never smoked a cigarette.
Yeah,
When I go to the doctor, doctors offend me because they be like, yo, where's your pharmacy? I'm like, I don't do drugs. They be like, but we need to send this prescription. I don't do drugs. Like that, like I really get so upset, right? 36 years old, I never popped a pill. I don't deal with none of that. Never did, right? So it was never nothing that I needed to stop. Right now, I have goddaughters that's 16. That's 16. One, she gonna be 17. Then I got a goddaughter that's gonna be 19. Right, and they smoke weed, and they were scared to tell me because they know that I don't indulge. Right, but they don't know that I don't have the judgment. Right, I don't have the judgment because what works for you doesn't work for me. Right, as long as you're not trying to offer it to me, I'm cool. Right. Look, you do what you want to do. Just don't offer it to me, right? When me being a man of God, reading the Bible, I don't force people to read the Bible. I just tell them what I'm into, right? As soon as I get off here, at 7 o'clock, I'm about to be teaching Bible study. I tell people what I do, what works for me, what keeps me free, right? There's a scripture in the Bible that says that what you enslave yourself to, you become a slave of. People don't even know that really is talking about how being in prison to something is not just a physical thing, right? You could be mentally in prison, right? This is the reason why racism exists because a lot of people that practice racism have a certain level of imprisonment, right? So it affects them, right? And then they deposit it, right? Hate is an imprisonment. Right, all these different things are something that imprisons you. You have to find your happy place and give yourself the liberty to live there. Right, when you know where you're happy at, you know where to go. I feel a little discouraged right now. I'm gonna go play some basketball. Right, I'm going to shoot some hoops. This is my therapy. Right, and a lot of people don't know how to ground themselves with something that is positive. Right, but I we got like 4 minutes left. Just speak some life into the youth real quick, man. Tell them something that they need to hear, not that they want to hear, man. You know what I'm saying? Shine the light on them.
I'm gonna say this, right? You could catch as many ops slipping as you want. Won't give you a degree. It won't give you the accolades you think you deserve. Because, like brother said earlier, you can't raise your youngest from prison. You might get some little shorties that like you at the moment, but that ain't the tell all be all, right? In order to become something, and I'm speaking to all the youth, right? In order for you to want to lead, you can't lead where you don't go. You have to learn how to follow your elders, follow your leaders, and I don't care what's your religion, because brother's a Christian, go to his Bibles. I'm a Muslim. I I don't even care about religion. I'm a black nationalist first. That's how I look at it. And I try to help other people in understanding how to live and survive. So it don't matter about anything you want to do besides the fact that if you don't learn how to humble yourself, follow the teachers that God has put in front of you, follow the ways of your parents if they're commendable, or follow the ways of your uncles if that's who's your role model, or if you have a friend down the hall. But you don't need to go and pick up guns, drugs. You don't need to go out and prove yourself. You proved yourself when you fought past millions of sperm cells to be the one to make it into the earth, to be the one out of 999. If your father was healthy, he may have 1.5 million you had to fight through. You have made it through that first fight. That is all the proving you have to do. Let the next step that the youth take, know that you can. The future is yours to have if you're doing the work now. Your future is already secure if you're doing the work now. Every push-up and sit-up and workout, a person that's doing the work, that does exercise, is not so that they go in the mirror tomorrow and they flex. It's not there tomorrow. It's there next week maybe. And then next week work shows up a week after. And this month work shows up in next month. So you have to be willing to be in your space, in your place, doing what you do, getting your education, doing what whoever your leaders are. And when I say leaders, I'm talking about your mother, your father, your auntie, your grandmother, your community leaders, following the ways of the people that you know are going somewhere, so that you can actually be a help to another. You're not, just because you're young don't mean you don't have voice with other young people. You are the best voice for your friend that you love. You don't want to see your friend in a casket? You got to have the hard conversation. Yo, bro, I ain't letting you go out there today. I ain't letting you do that. Yo, go to class. Yo, come to class. Yo, if you go to class today, I help you with get the class though. Don't be afraid to call up such and such pops. Yo, you know I'm not a snitch, but I love such and such and such. He ain't been to class in 3 days, because 3 days turn into 3 weeks, 3 weeks turn into 3 months, 3 months turn into 3 years, and they ain't graduated. And now you got to go past your friend. We don't have a lot of friends that we take with us into our future, because we always shedding our past. We need to be able to help some of these people that we are living with now and bring them into the future, so you can have some trustworthy people. You got to go trust in everybody else, because you building your own community, your own friendship, your own family, everything right where you have it. So you, the youth, and when I say youth, I'm talking from 35 and down, 40 and down. I ain't even go. Youth is 40 and down. So at this point, youth, you have the power to create the future, because the future is already ours if we're doing the work. If we are doing the work, the future is already ours. And that's what I want to leave you with. And what you do today is going to benefit us tomorrow.
You was passionate with that one. You start sweating. I can see it. That's just trickling and all that.
Yo, I'm very passionate. I've been sweating since I talked to you, bro, because my body is going when I think about this, because I don't look at everything that I'm saying as the right answer or the right way to go. I'm always I'm a student. I'm a student of some of the stuff you just said is gonna come out my mouth, because I believe it was some of the right thing to say. So my passion runs deep. I think that's one of my attributes, is passion, because I mean what I say. I will give my life. Like, I will stand if I have to. I got daughters. I don't explain that to them. They don't know daddy gonna give up. Are we gonna lose a father because he want to help a knucklehead? I'm not gonna stop and explain that to them. They'll understand when they get older, when they have sons, that they say, Dad, if your grandfather was here, he'd get in your ass. Excuse my language.
Right.
But the main thing is, when they see that the passion and the concern that you and I have is there, they can't match that. Your gun don't even work around me. Your gangster ain't working around me, because guess what? You got to match this intensity. And you want to kill his energy? I don't think so, brother. So it's part of me. I just want that's right. That's me. That's me in the
nutshell. You good. Now I get it. So look, man, I got 3 minutes left. I just want to say this briefly, man. And that's just before I give you the floor to let people know where they can find you. I want to say this, right? So 9 years ago, right, they was offering me a 6 to life in prison for a crime I ain't commit. I had everything to do with the crime, but they wasn't even looking for me. They was looking for my friends, my peers, people I kept around me. I ended up doing the time, right? Didn't tell on nobody. I followed this street code that's meaningless, right? And not one of those people that they was looking for did anything for me, right? And still to this day, they don't do anything for me, right? They don't add value to my life, right? My family being the ones that suffered without me are the people that was there for me during the time of my incarceration. I ended up almost beefing with a guy in prison over something minute, but it was major to me in the moment. And he had 2 life sentences to do, right? Now I had a date. I knew I was coming home, but he didn't. He knew that he was going to Pottersfield.
Dangerous.
The biggest lesson that he taught me, right? Because I went to the yard thinking that we was just gonna fight. And he just handed me his paperwork showing me that he was on a life sentence and he had a life sentence to do. So what he said was, he said, don't let a 1-minute decision cost you life in prison, right? And from that particular advice, I haven't had a fight since 2014, right? I've almost got into situations right? Because I got 5 sisters, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm still attached to who my name is and reputation and all these different things. But overall, I haven't had a fight since 2014. I was in prison for that particular situation. Whatever it was, I ain't gonna tell you what happened. It doesn't even matter. But what I'm saying is generally, that small piece of advice, don't let a 1-minute decision get you life in prison, right? It's just telling me to stop and think, right? Stop and think, right? Stopping and thinking makes the difference. A lot of people look at me and they say like, yo, all he do is smile and he mad nonchalant, and they don't even understand that there's a different beast inside. But the reality is that what we all have 2 different wolves inside of us. It's good and evil, right? If you want to put it that way, right? And whichever one you feed the most is the one that's gonna show the most, right?
Yes, sir.
So because I show the laughy, jokey one the most, right? This is who I am, right? Authentically, genuinely, like this is who I am, right? Because I don't want to be feeding that other wolf because I know what it comes with, right? I know what comes with it. The grass is way greener on this side because as long as I stay on this side, I don't have to worry about where I'm going on that side. And I know where I'm going on that side, right? So for all of the youth, I just want to say this, man, get to know yourself in that way where you can sit back and say, you know what? Everybody don't deserve to see that other side, right? I'm good at being this person. If it's so real, if I wanted to fight somebody right now, and I ain't gonna lie and say that there ain't a couple of people I want to, you know what I'm saying? But
of course.
But for the most part, if it was a situation that took place right now, I would just say let's play some basketball so we can shake hands when it's over. Because we not in the time, space, and era where a dude could take a loss and shake my hand, or you know what I'm saying. Now I might be able to take the loss and shake a person's hand, but I'm still talking about the other person, right? So overall, you find a different resolution, right? That my man just posted something earlier. It said guns down, gloves up, right? He talking about boxing, right? Let's get in the ring. Let's get in the ring.
I just
right?
left the ring.
So, right, like let's get in the ring. It's you know what I'm saying. Every situation doesn't always cause for a gun. And last but not least, man, before I let Josh just tell y'all where y'all can find him, I'm gonna tell y'all where y'all can find me, even though y'all probably know already, right? So y'all know I got 3 different clothing lines. Y'all can find me on Instagram, Staxx, STAXX 821. The 821 stands for 8 letters, 2 words, 1 meaning. Get money. That's the name of my clothing line. Y'all can, you know what I'm saying? I'm doing $40 on a hoodie, $25 on the shirts. I can do any color, any pair of sneakers you get. I can match them. I promise you that. I got the champ. I got the champ joint. It say champ stands for Christ handles all my problems. Right. So for all those that believe in Jesus and whatever the representation of what Jesus represents for you, Christ handles all my problems. You can come holler at me. Hit me up on the gram. I'm about to do a whole new Instagram just for my clothing line. So y'all can hit me up on Instagram, Staxx821. Y'all go hit me up on Facebook, Staxx Irving, IRVING. Y'all can comment in the subscription area of this particular YouTube page, Do the Knowledge Radio, and actually speak to Staxx, man. I'm always available to speak, man. Let them know where they can find you, Josh, before we go, man.
Doing a lot out there. Yo, I'm simple, man. You can find me on Instagram. My name is King Ray, capital K and capital R, 1000. And also, I just want to shout out, y'all go follow Street Corner Resources at Street Corner Res on Instagram, and you can go check out the website streetcornerresources.com. And that's I'm on Facebook, my name Joshua Marte, but I'm really on Instagram. That's the most posting I do is on Instagram. That's King Ray, KING, capital RAY. Well, the R is capital, regular lowercase AY, and 1000. It may be 10,000. I can't remember, but it's either 1,000 or 10,000. I'm sorry about that. And last but not least,
so y'all,
I just left that ring too. So that guns down, gloves up. I'm with that. I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you know, boxing is not about fighting though. That's what they need to know. You gotta tell them that part too. It's about discipline, man.
It's
right?
About big discipline. You can fight as much as you want. You ain't.
It's about big discipline, man.
And what happens, right?
And
it makes you not fight, and you won't fight no more outside. For some reason, I never understood this. You become so good in fighting in the ring, and then you don't have a fight ever again in your life.
I mean, here's what's funny, right? that boxing is so detailed. Boxing is so detailed because you can look at a person and know they can't fight and walk away from them too. Like, you lost. I'm out.
You have to do that.
But yo, Josh, man, listen, man, I appreciate you, man. I you know what I'm saying? I applaud you and I'm proud of you once again.
Very humble.
You know what I'm saying? Street Corner Resources, man. Y'all go check them out, man. 145th between.
Check them out.
Yeah, check out Street Corner Resources, man. Y'all never know what y'all might be able to gain from them, and the people that they affiliated with, right? Because
I'm sorry,
when you think about the word resource, the word resource means that they have more than just what is on the surface, right? They have other outlets, right? You never know what you may be able to gain from the resources that they may be able to, give you. And like he just said, they help with employment. So y'all go check them out. I appreciate you, Josh, man. Shout out to Do the Knowledge Radio, man. I appreciate Do the Knowledge Radio for keeping me here. Right, this the third year of me having the podcast. This the first episode of the year, right? So this is monumental, not just for me, but I got one of my brothers on here. First episode of the year. Or whatnot, besides my 3-year anniversary, that don't really count. But this right here is monumental because it's the first joint that I did this year or whatnot. And y'all look forward to the next joint I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have like 3 or 4 people come on here. We're gonna talk about, we just gonna hold a sexist conversation because of what society is doing and the representation of how they devalue our women. And how they make our women attack us with things that society is putting in their heads. So y'all look forward to that, man.
Try to get you on my book, to see you on Founder.
Yeah, we gonna do it, man. But yo, Josh, I appreciate you, man. Like, have a good one.
Yo, same to you, bro. Best of everything, man.